welcome back to another early adopter edition. And in this episode, we're going to talk about collaboration, specifically discussions, discussing our elements and modeling in delivery. So let's get started. So let's set up our use case for this episode. Let's say we're an architecture team working on design, getting down into detailed design, and specifically concerned about the deployment view and a particular component, the execution environment here. And we want to talk about this with the team. First, and the easiest way, is to simply right-click on the element that you want to talk about, and you'll see Collaborate in the quick access menu, a pop-up menu, and you just simply select Discuss. And this will immediately take us to the discussion tab, the Discuss tab in Discuss and Review window. The previous episode, we talked about Journal. Today, we're just going to talk about Discuss. In a later session, we'll talk about Review. So you can just start typing away. You see here in this light coloring font, Create New Discussion, and you can just start typing away on this element. Let's go ahead and close this Discuss and Review window. And another way to get to it is from the Start tab, you go to Discuss in the Collaborate panel and simply click it or the down caret and choose Discuss. Pops up the same window. What I usually do and where I start is actually in discussion history. Let's go ahead and select this one. For me, it pops up in the lower right. And I'm fine with a small window here. If I want to make this larger, I simply just drag and drop it underneath my work area, and then I size and shape it to what's necessary for me to collaborate. Let's go ahead and close the Discuss and Review history window, and let's focus on discussion. So I, as the chief architect, want to talk about RTF and its readiness for our architecture. So I can right click this and go to Collaborate and Discuss. You can see it's got a check mark next to it. It's already open. And I want to ask a question here. I'll go ahead and start typing my question. Is RTF approved by governance? And just simply hit enter. And so now this is posted. Let's next talk about some features that are in the Discuss window. If we have this hamburger up here, we can select this and we get some options. We can create another discussion on the same element or move to another element and create a new discussion. We can post a reply. Of course, we're not going to be replying to ourselves. In a moment, we're going to show you or simulate multiple team members in the same project that wish to reply to the question or the discussion. And you can also open up discussion history. And again, for me, I had it down here. I like it over in the lower right. That's fine. I don't need that window that big. I just want to be able to select certain items. So today, these are discussions that are taking place, and this is the one that we just posted. Other things that I can do is I can right click on the discussion itself, again, create a new discussion, post a reply. More importantly, status. Right now, it defaults to open. You can see it's checked. I want to make this pop out and as an alert. I'm very concerned. I need a quick response. So I'm going to change it to alert. And you can see here, alert now shows next to the poster and the time, right? I'm going to right click it on it again, go to priority. This is high priority. Now notice these 3 hash marks. And if I mouse over them, it says alert is high. I can change that at any time going to priority. Yeah, I agree. It's not that high. We're going to choose it medium. Now we have 2 hash marks. If I mouse over it, I get alert medium. And again, I can go to priority, just drop it to none, low, change it to medium or high. I'm going to put it on high. Let's look at some other options and differences between the quick access menus. So if I right click on this, you see the choices that I have. We've already talked about discussion, history. I can certainly delete the selected. I'd be careful there. You don't want to delete an unnecessary discussion, especially if it's high priority. You also have show closed topics. By default, that is checked on. You're going to get in a team with a lot of stakeholders and modelers collaborating. And as you close elements, you don't need to see those. You just want to see the open ones. Always visible. I want to always have alerts visible. So you can check each one of these. You can check all. I want to see all of them. Right click on it again. We're going to go from this particular point, always visible. I'm going to uncheck. Focused on this discussion post, I'm going to right click again. And then you can sort by most recent activity. You can copy to clipboard that you could use the discussion in an email or a document to start a discussion or elaboration there. Refresh. You can refresh your current discuss and review window for discussion. Let's right click on it again. And you can highlight glossary terms. By default, this is checked. I would use it. Often when you're talking across the team, you have technical and non-technical stakeholders. You have acronyms that might have multiple meanings and many other reasons to have your terms highlighted within your documentation and your discussions. Another powerful thing is search discussions. So I select on search discussion, the window changes and it enters something that you want to look for. And you just simply come in here, type in your search term. It'll find all discussions on that particular search term. To get out of the search window, just select anywhere in the diagram or another element, and then go back to the element that you want to discuss, and you get back to the discuss window on the topic. So now for the most part, we've seen the quick access menus. Clicking outside of the discussion, we see this window, this menu here. Going to the hamburger, we see a little bit different selections that we have. And then on the element itself, the discussion itself, we see a change in the options that are available for you. For this episode, I created 3 different sessions. Let's minimize this. I have one for Eddie, who is an architect. I have another for Sarah, who's the security architect, part of the technical architecture board for reviewing application readiness, project readiness, and so on. So what I'm going to do is go to Eddie here, and we're going to simulate Eddie at the start menu, going to discussion and starting in discussion history. So again, Eddie might have multiple monitors and has this window out here and sees that today at this time, a high priority discussion was started by UML operator. Here is posted by, right? You can see the history of that. So post, change to high priority, change to medium priority, back to high priority, status, etc. So Eddie's able to see what's taking place so far in this particular discussion. They can double click on that discussion and start to get to a window where they can reply. Or let's go ahead and close the history. I'm going to go to the particular element. I'm going to hit this to minimize this. I want to look at the discussion point that UML operator made. And I can see the priority of it is high and so on. So I have a few options here that I could do in order to continue this discussion. I can either right click on it, post reply. It opens up the reply window where I can type in here and then post. I'm going to minimize it again. Another one is double clicking, does the same thing. I typically will use the right click post reply. It's just faster, more natural, and ensures that I'm on the right dialogue here for this particular post. Eddie, in this case, is going to type a response and post it. Then we'll just minimize this. So now we see the post. Just roll down. You can see alert, 5 posts, and then you can see Eddie's response right here. So let me go here to mine. I'm going to select it. I can see Eddie's response. So often it's having a larger monitor or moving the window out to a place where you're able to see all of the content that's been made available. So here we can see the response from Eddie, his own response, and we can see everything else that's taking place in the discussion. Next, let's simulate another experience, this time from Sarah. So we're going to expand this. We're going to go to the item that's here and focus on it, or she may not even be on this diagram. So what I'm going to do is go to Start Discussion History here, move that out, make sure I'm on the Discussion tab, not the Journal tab or other tabs. I'm on Discussion. I'm going to maximize this, and I can see that today there is a discussion on RTF. So I'm selecting it right now in history, and I can see the original question by UML operator. I can see a response by the application architect. I can see some other activities that UML operator has done related to the status. Sarah will go to the discussion window itself. I'm going to leave discuss in history here. From the history, I can discuss. Here, if I select discuss, I can see the item. And again, I can see everything that we just looked at. And Sarah can post something in here as a response. She may type in something like the topics planned for tomorrow's technical architecture board meeting, and maybe even give us some optimism that we expect this to be approved. And then she'll post. And now that has been applied. Alert, 6 posts, high priority. You can see the most recent response in time, and then Eddie's, and then any other history. And over here, you're able to see the same thing. Run refresh for this item. And here we can see Sarah's response, Eddie's response, and other activities. Let's roll back to the UMLO session. And here, UMLO is still hanging out here, is going to hit refresh, and then is going to double click it and see, oh, there's been 6 posts. It includes my changes. Sarah, and I know that this is the governance stakeholder assigned and any of the application, I can look at their responses, and what I can do is right click on this item and close the discussion. So status, I can select closed. And now you can see closed is here. I can do other changes and they'll show up in history. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up now. We learned quite a bit. Let's widen this window a little bit here. Matter of fact, what I want to do is move browser out here for the rest of this discussion. And you can just collaborate is what I should say. At the element level, you can collaborate at the diagram level, and you can collaborate at the package level. And it's good to have history up so you can see the discussions that are taking place. When you get into a large project with a large team, and I'm on projects with 80 plus stakeholders, this can get, I want to say, complicated to keep up. This is like any of your other social media platforms where you just want to see what's most important. You can sort and filter by alert and priority and status. You can look at just things for today. I can right click on this, visible timeline. I only want to see what's taking place today, or I want to see what's taken place over the last 2 or 3 days. And they will show up in your history, and you can quickly go through your discussions and participate in them. You can double click on an item. It'll give you a window off to the side where you can read only see the discussion that's taking place between the stakeholders, or you can actually go up in the discuss window here and participate in the discussion. Now, I said I was going to do this if I have time, and I think we do have time. Let me go back to my default full workspace layout. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to search model We're going to go to My Searches. We certainly could choose from the searches that are available. There's actually a discussion canned by Sparx where you're able to choose from recent discussed elements, posts, reviews. We'll just select this one for this session. And you can see the recent discussions that are taking place over the default is 7 days. You can change this variable to 3 days, 1 day, what have you. And if you want to, or you're interested, you can look at the SQL necessary. So here we see that the discussions, they're bound to an object ID, right? The object ID is a package, a diagram, or an element. And the discussions themselves are in the T_document table. Let's look at a document SQL that I made for search. What I'm going to do down here is go to T documents, and let me take out this filter right here to just only document, and then let's go ahead and hit this. So in submitting that query, we can see a lot of fields that are available. What I'm going to do is go over to element type. I am going to go over to doc type here, right? And then what we're going to do is scroll down. You have e-discussion, e-disc, and then we have e-post. So I'm just going to type in e-d. I can see e-discussions, and down here, I can see the one that I posted. You can put in e-post and see the posts that have taken place. And here is one of my posts. And then you can see the content right here, the string content for a particular post. So you can see here, the one I selected, status is closed. Or you can go up to EE and filter. This is just helping you come up here if you wanted to and are experienced in SQL. You can type your where clauses and other things necessary for you to find the data that you're looking for if you're experienced. But as I showed you a moment ago, Sparx provides already a script that allows you, that's canned, to search discussions. All right, we're going to close now. This is another underutilized feature in many of the enterprises that I work with, and that's because they have their own chat platform and they choose that to use as that platform. However, the problem that they have using outside of Sparx is that it's difficult to align with, well, what are you talking about? You don't have access to the glossary terms and many other things. So this is extremely powerful and very easy. Start, discuss, there you go. You're ready to go. Start, I want to see discussion history. There you go. You're ready to go, right? Bring that out here or over in another monitor. Keep that open like you keep your other social networking platforms. And then collaborate away. Make it easy. Later on, we may show you how to create reports on discussions. Don't do it. Don't recommend it. I don't think it's necessary. But in some cases, security may be doing an audit. People might be saying bad words or discussing the wrong things or utilizing the tool improperly, and there'll be a need for that. But today we just focused on hey, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about this element, this diagram, this package. There you go. You can start discussing away. You can discuss and collaborate on your review sessions. You can discuss and collaborate during conference calls or other meetings, online or offline. So a very powerful feature within Sparx. I would use it to its most ability and help you deliver your objectives. So until that next episode, happy modeling.